in the round of 32, they will begin on Frostline. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss. Ooh, it is Zoun. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. Now, coming into this, Ryung has some of the best TvT in the world. It's insane, it's crazy, it is where he thrives, and what he really does. And one of the reasons why Clem now no longer plays TvT. I can with confidence say that Ryung is one of, if not the biggest reason why Clem is avoiding TvT and is now off-racing as Protoss against Terran. But when it comes to his other matchups, Ryung, he's not too bad whatsoever. I would say that Ryung's weakest matchup is TvZ. Terran versus Zerg is where Ryung struggles the most. Terran versus Protoss, we have seen Ryung pop off and take down players like Hero, take down players like Showtime as well. Ryung, he definitely has his moments in this matchup, but I'm curious how things play out here on Frostline, where we have a very large map, very exposed bases as well. I can definitely see aggressive builds being successful on this map, and Ryung, he's known for his aggression. We have seen, especially in this matchup, a lot of 2-base all-ins out of Ryung, a lot of 2-base timings as well, and yeah, just aggression all around. Does play macro and can play macro, don't get me wrong, but typically that isn't really Ryung's go-to, at least in our experience. We'll see how he does approach Zoun here on Frostline. We shall see. So now Zoun just going to be opening up here, walling up the Reaper Cliff. Gate Cybercore into a Nexus. Should soon be expanding. Likewise, Double Gas. Interesting. Double Gas opener here out of Ryung, going for a faster factory. This can lead into Reacted Reaper Hellion. There is no reactor though. This can also lead into Widow Mines, into a later Widow Mine drop. This can lead into faster tech labs on the factory and on the starport, into tank production, into a tank drop, into tank Banshee. There's options. Eyes are on Ryung. Eyes is going to be on Ryung here. As he's being active. Likewise, we have a take of choice, Twilight Council out of Zoun. I believe Ryung here will not scout.
Add-on complete.
He's a little bit too far back. Won't get eyes on what's going on. There's the command center here for Ryung. And Zoun confirms. He confirms the build, he confirms the add-ons as well. The tech lab to just finish up. He knows that there's no Reacted Reaper Hellion. As we have the early Cyclone for Ryung. Now, the early Cyclone really just confirms that Ryung's not really fully aware of what's going on. Ooh, as the Reaper does go down. Very nice force field. Zoun catching out Ryung. But the Cyclone is just a really safe way to play. If it was a Stargate opener, then Ryung, he would be ready here to defend against Oracles and Phoenixes. Alas, as a reminder, Ryung does not know what's going on, so just playing as safe as possible initially. Even a CC on the high ground. Cyclone is out, getting in position. Looking to catch any stray Skytoss units, even a stray Hallucination. Hallucination comes in, and Ryung will catch it. Oof. Barely doesn't get the kill. Marines, they rotate over towards that corner of the main, hoping to deny the scouts. We'll see if they can. And behind this, it is in fact going to be faster tech lab on the starport into Banshees. Oh! Ooh, and Zoun, what did he see? Checking his vision, Zoun, he did get eyes on the tech labs, and ooh, I'm not so certain he saw it researching. Looks like the research may have started after the hallucination had gone down, but regardless, did see the tech lab nonetheless. The double tech lab even is somewhat aware. Technically, this could be a Raven-based opener. True, but again, Ravens this early on aren't really as common. So we do see Zoun getting in position. Blink on the way. Robo as well for detection. For that observer. Let's see if he can get there. Likewise, Ryung building up. building up more tanks. Now, when it comes to this build of Ryung, I should also emphasize that we can approach this in a couple different ways. It looks like Ryung, he's going to be harassing. Does move out. The other approach, of course, is backing up these Banshees in the center, or we're back at home, moving out together with the tank base move out, with the tank base bush, and send everything across the map. That's the Banshee headed towards the main. Ryung, he should be aware that he got scattered, of course. Should be aware. And Zoun, he is here to delay the move out. Nice Vigos, getting a handful of Marines. Banshee goes into the main. Stalker's in position. Observer as well. Yeah, Zoun is ready for this. Despite that, losing 3 probes. Not bad. Ryung breaking out. How many Marines going down? 6 Marines already. That's a lot of Marines. 6 Marines falling. That does delay Ryung. Oh. Ooh, Banshee not able to get away. Banshee falls as well. Down, defending well. Snipes the Banshee. Delays the push. Picks off Marines. Gets to third base. Now looking to get us saturated. And behind this Ryung, what does he do? He throws down a third CC. Okay, we're gearing up towards the mid game. Ryung, he's backing off, he's expanding. Likewise, Zoun, he's settling in. Oh. That's likewise, Zoun is going to be pushing. Does head towards the natural. Again, the goal here for Zoun is just contain. Just contain Ryung on 2 bases, delay the third for as long as possible, and behind this, Zoun can now start taking. You know, he's getting his third base fully saturated. We have the Bay on the way. We have the Forge now finishing up as well for upgrades for +1, for Colossus production. Ryung, he needs to get damage done with these Banshees. Now 2 Banshees, they can one-shot probes. They can and they will. So far, 4 or 5 probes going down. Getting to 6, getting up to almost 7. Almost. Rotating over towards the third. No Stalkers in position. Zoun skipping Stalker war pins. I mean, I say that. I should say Stalkers. I mean, they're across the map. They're not at home to defend. And Ryung, he gets away. Does get away. So far, so good for Ryung. Is fighting back. Zoun's still looking for a way in. Still looking for any kind of key pickups. Third base down the way for Ryung. Bold move. Let's see if he can hold on to it. As Zoun is being kept busy. Tanks are moving out. Zoun being forced further back. Up! He wants a tank! Ooh, hop pick up. Very hop pick up there out of Ryung. He saves a tank. That's how he wanted it. Ryung does save it. Now he establishes his third base. At the same time, double drop across the map. And they saw those 2 Banshees going towards the third. There is a cannon in position. Here's a cannon. Nice pickups. Catching out 2 wooden mines and catching it. Ooh, almost a medevac. Almost. Double drop comes in. Banshees, they do hit that third. They barely get out of range here of the cannon. Shield battery goes down. Ryung moving in. Going for a tri-pronged attack. Getting 10 probe kills already. Banshees, they escape. Double drop unloads. Or loads even. Double drop gets away. And Ryung, he wants the 4th. He stems in. Stem in. Tanks are ready. Yeah, and the 4th base is going to be denied. Massive pickup. Kills probes at the 3rd. At the main. Denies the 4th base. Zoun, he's in trouble. Does have his first Colossus. Has 3 modals as well. Has a hefty army here. But pushing into 4 tanks, it's not going to be easy. Zoun pulling away. Ryung once again dropping to the main. But this time there is an army in position. And the medevac is going to go down. Massive pickup. Ryung throwing away supply. We'll see if he can keep up. Sound at the same time going for his other run by. Hits a third base. Does a move on the depot though, so that does give Ryung time to react. And Ryung losing one SCV. He responds. Can't choose a pull away. She said to pull away. Still alive here for Ryung. They can repair it as we speak. Zoun is attempting to retake that fourth base, but again, this fourth base is very late. Putting things into context here, typically a Protoss player wants to be up in expansion compared to the Terran because of mules, because of, I mean, the way their economy works, and that is not the case here. As a result, Ryung, thanks to not just delaying the fourth base, but because of the economic damage, Ryung, he's maxed. He's maxed out. He's up 40 supply. That is insane. And Zoun is in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble here. Now, if Zoun had disruptors, I would say that he has a chance here to recover and to take a better fight. He has potential. That is not the case, though. He has 3 Colossus, that is true. And here we go. Disruptor production has now just begun. How many disruptors will he have by the time Ryung moves out? As Ryung, he is maxing. Just now getting a fourth. Zoun rotates over towards said fourth base. Zoun is catching up in supply. Ryung being more passive, more defensive, waiting for his upgrades, waiting for 2-2. That's expansion is being taken. Colossus, they pull away. They pull back. And Ryung, he is taking this very slow, actually. Despite having a big supply advantage, it's also possible that Ryung wasn't fully aware. So he's just turtling up. We're throwing down CCs, widow mines, bunkers, depots, sensor towers, missile turrets, which I don't think we needed to do this, but okay. I mean, Ryung is just waiting to receive. He's waiting in. I mean, Zoun is moving in. All the EMPs. For the EMPs. EMPs, they blanket the army. Disruptors, they have arrived. And the problem here now is that Ryung, ideally, he wants to be trading. He wants to trade out some of this army, trade it out for Liberators, ideally. Fusion cores on the way. That should be for Lib range. But Ryung has to make room here for these Libs. Knocks down the rocks. Yeah, speaking of freeing up supply, yep. Ryung killing his own SCVs down from 71, 72 to 69. Nice. Now 69 SCVs. Up. There he goes off. No major connection. Saturday rotates, taking more bases. Establishing himself. Still building up. Just getting more CCs, 2 more Ghost Academies into nukes. And she's still doing what they can. They're just trading out at this point. Sharking around. Stargate's on the way. Stargate, that we might be here for a while. Stargate's on the way. That, of course, is going to be for the fleet beacon for the mothership into Skytos. Zoun is at least thinking about it. As he has his half of the map. Ryung attempted to take a 5th. Zoun is in position to deny. Oh. Once again being zoned back. Up the Nova. Ooh, does not go up. Ooh, that was so close. Nova does not connect. Ryung does snipe in time. Very clutch though. Ryung, calm down. Calm down. Building on more libs. Likewise, Ryung going for a split push. Moving out. Up. Mine's just going to be going up. Catching up the Zealots. Ryung moving in, going for the dive. Massive EMP. Once again, though, Nova will connect. Takes down the Ghost. Ryung does take some Novas to the face. Behind this, replacing this army here with Liberators. 4 Liberators on the way. So he rotates with his force towards the north. This will expose this northern base. Bear that in mind. As Zoun is moving in. Alright, let's push on the right hand side. Gets a Ghost. Some rough losses here for Ryung. As he is being called out, it's being forced back. No major commitments yet. I say that, does dive on top of the bunker. Bunker gets sniped, tank behind this doing as much as he can. But where are the reinforcements? Zoun breaking through, takes down the tank, gets into the middle line. And Ryung, his main army, is still here towards the south. There we go, does respond, but leads a portion, will defend. So far, good damage out of Zoun. He rotates. Rotates towards the center. Ryung, he does keep up. Novas are here. And Ryung is still waiting for more libs. Novas, they don't quite connect. Nice dodges. Command center goes down. Stalker still poking in. Ryung still taking some losses. Those Liberators, though, they do get 9 probes across the map. Do get 9 workers. Ryung at least is doing some counter damage here. Still building on more ghosts. Has yet to invest into nukes, I believe. Oh no, my apologies, he has 3. Never mind. Speaking of, there it is. First nuke behind the army. No detection. It's gonna zone down. It's a weird thing to say, but yes. It goes off. Zoun rotating. Zoun does have observers, but there we go. Does come in. Liberation has arrived. A decent lib count. As I believe there are 4 Liberators of the main army. Tempests have arrived. Again, this entire time Zoun been setting up for Sky Toss. Zoun looking to push in. Oh god. Doesn't quite break through. Again, this entire time Ryung has just been stuck at home. Despite being up 40 supply earlier, he chose not to be active. Now we've reached this kind of game state. Oh! That's a connection. Doesn't quite bring down them Marauders, but does get them close. Does come close. You see Ryung collapsing in. Up. And Ryung, he goes to the fight. Nova's no major connections. Prism is getting vulnerable. Alas does survive. And Zanny pulls back. Can't kite away. Prism gets behind. One Tempest going to be going down. And Ryung, can he catch out the rest of the Tempest? Oh. Not quite. Gets a Colossus. Liberator setting up. Ryung, he fights well. Does pick up some very high-tech units. Despite that, the Tempest, never mind. Tempest able to force Ryung back. And with that, Zoun did take some losses, but he can rebuild. What should be important, though, what we should point out, is lack of gas for both players. Ryung and Zoun have been burning through their gas. Zoun has got an 8,000 mineral bank. Jesus. Take some gases. We need them. Zoun moving in. Nova's going up. Ooh, they don't quite connect. Towards the end, they raise the main army. Stalkers behind the mineral line. Taking down more SCVs. I mean, there's even a gas geyser here in the natural that he never took as well. Never took the gases. Zoun once again just rotating, bullying the army. Viking count still very low, but one Tempest is going to be thrown away. Meanwhile, Ryung coming in for a surround. Yeah, just flanking the army. Nova goes off on the Marines. But Zoun, it looks like he may have overextended. Please add another Tempest. As all this has been going on, the Zealots are wreaking havoc. They shut down the third base, pushing into the natural SCVs are going down. We spoke about that mineral bank earlier, and Zanny's making use of it. Just mass Zealots is all he needs. Who needs splash damage? As Ghost Companies are going down. Massive pickups. That is also removing the nukes. As Ryung was only able to make use of one of them. The other nukes should be removed. Yeah. That's 2 nukes going down. That does somewhat free up supply, but Ryung, he's running out of a bank. And Zanny dives in. Dives on the fire. Does focus on the tank on the high ground. Still very Zealot heavy. But he's going to be fine. And there is a connect. Oof. Brutal connections. And rotates over. The planetary is going to go down. And at this point, Ryung just can't keep up. He's out of money. He's out of money. He's out of steam. Out of resources. Ryung did have an advantage here in this game earlier. If you recall, he was sniping the 4th base. He was getting economic damage. Catching up the army as well. Ryung was doing so well for himself, and what did he do with that lead? He fortified himself back at her. Like he walled up, chose to stop being active, and then Zoun was able to recover. He was able to bounce back, catching up the main army. You get mass Zealot. The Zealots are here. The Tempest as well. Disruptors, they reinforce, and Ryung is down to 100 supply. GG gets called. Ryung taps out, and Zoun takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played again. Ryung, he had a very strong start to this game, but again, as we mentioned, Ryung, he was more passive in the aftermath. He, despite maxing out, despite having a lead, he kind of backed off, gave Zoun plenty of breathing room, and Zoun was able to double, triple expand, and max out, take into Sky Toss, get into the ideal, and was left alone. In the end. Sure, there was some Liberator harass, true. There was some Banshee harass, there was some Liberator harass, but there was never a main move out for Ryung, and never at all actually past the early game. We saw towards the end Ryung actually engaged in the center of the map, but never really pushed out in towards the bases of Zoun. GG. GG, well played. With that, that leads us into game number 2. This is going to be Ryung's map of choice, loading into a much smaller map into Ley Lines. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran. For Team Vitality, it is Ryung. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. It is Zoun. Here we go. TvP does continue, and Zoun, he does take a lead. Again, Zoun, he had a rough early game. He had like a rough start to game one where he was being torn apart by the multi-ring aggression of Ryung. Clearly a lot more comfortable in a longer game state. I mean, if you remember, back in December, we did cast Zoun defeat Clem in a series in OlimoLeague, and of course in the late game as well. That is where Zoun thrived. We'll see if he can get there again. Now, about Leylines, it is a smaller map, so I would imagine that Ryung wants to be more aggressive here. Double gas opener. If you recall, in the lead up to game one, I was talking about how Ryung is known for being aggressive early on. He's known for like 2-base timings and 2-base all-ins. He's more than willing to embrace that kind of style of play. We saw, of course, the direct opposite of that on Frostline, but that was after he had gained a lead. He just like kind of backed off and relinquished map control. I don't imagine that's going to happen here. I'm sure the map itself didn't help, right? Frostline is a really large map, so maybe Ryung wasn't really too comfortable, despite being ahead, just pressing that and moving out and being active on the map. Maybe it was paranoid of being caught out. Here he should be a little bit more comfortable being aggressive, as we have the double gas into a faster factory. So more tech-heavy start here by Ryung, going for a delayed expansion, a delayed CC. See what Ryung can do. Now, last game this led into early Banshee production. It went Cyclone into Banshee tank. Meanwhile, Zoun opening up Stargate. Okay, I see you. Gonna be a Stargate open out of Zoun. Interesting. Last game we did see a Twilight Council into Blink. This time most likely Oracle into potentially Phoenixes. Keep an eye on Zoun. CC's on the way for Ryung. Oh, what did he see? Ryung poking in, doesn't really get eyes on much here. It's a standard opener, but Ryung, he responds with a bunker on the high ground. I mean, there is a Zealot, that is true. Zoun did open Zealots, moving out with the Adept. Ryung taking this very seriously. Good repair. So far, holding on. Oh, trying to bait out the mine shot, unable to. Zoun gonna be forced back. Ryung does hold. Trying to get some scouting information, and we have confirmation it's going to be an Oracle opener into Phoenix, but with a much faster Twilight Council. Very fast Twilight Council, actually, considering the Stargate opener. Interesting. Ryung, he pokes in. Pokes in, pulls away. Oracle has arrived. Ooh, Mine Shot does not quite go up. We get the lock on here on that Oracle, but alas, Zoun does get away. As Ryung is going to be settling in, going for the 1-1-1. So far, this time, no earlier tech lab on that starport, so this time it is not going to be a Banshee-based opener. But it is going for an early medevac. What does that mean? That means early tank drop. Okay, so we spoke about this earlier. Ryung, he's known for being aggressive early on, and here it is. He's going for the tank drop. Back at home, Zoun, he is going to be vulnerable to this. Now, he is banking up Phoenixes, going to really early charge. This early Twilight Council into early charge is actually going to be crucial here in the defense. It means that charge is going to be ready, and Zealots are ideal when it comes to shutting down moves out like this. when it comes to shutting down this kind of push. And here comes Ryung. He's got 2 tanks. Ooh, okay, third base on the way. How many zealots is Zoun gonna have though? That's the question. As he only has 2 gates, he can only warp it. Sorry, 3 gates. He can warp in 3 zealots at a time. Here comes the move out. Boys are being pulled. Zoun, I believe he misses the move out. Oh, he should notice. Barely any SCVs. And we do need a race back. We need to deal with this. Zoun, he's forced to recall back home. Aye, Zoun is in trouble. No shield battery. No shield battery. No defensive setup whatsoever. Ryung, he's going for the kill. But charge is done. Zalsei dive in. Phoenix, they try to lift, but it's too much. Ryung, he breaks through. The Zalsei melt adepts as well. Zoun a little bit too greedy. And again, Zoun, he missed the move out entirely. Did miss the army. Investing into a third base. Delayed his gateways. Ryung is pushing in. Zoun trying to find a way to engage. Technically, Zoun, he can lift all the tanks, but there's just so much anti-air here. Oh, the Viking. Gets one. Gets one Viking. Oh! Trying to bait out the mine shots. Bunkers on the way. And the last Ryung, he's within range of the Nexus. He's taking a lot of hits. Let's try to dive in. They ban at the mine. Ooh, and the Marines are going down, but the rest of the army responds. Takes down the bunker. Takes down the bunker at least. Diving on the tanks. They'll take away from behind. It's a valiant effort here from Zoun, and he can try to lift all these tanks. There aren't that many Marines left. There's plenty of Marines. One tank goes down, but still plenty of Marines here. Tanks, they are out of range though. I'll go the mine shot. Yeah, brutal connection. We're down to 3 Phoenixes. Barely a Skytos army. And the bunkers, one of them completes. It's complete. It is being repaired. These dive in. Can they take down all the Marines? They can. The Marines, they barely go down. There's 1 Marine left. No anti-air. Zoun holds. Wow, Zoun, he barely holds on. If this bunker had finished, if the previous bunker hadn't gone down, then suddenly the Marines have survived that much longer. But no, Zoun, he saves the natural and he saves the third base. Massive win here for Zoun. He saves both bases. Denies the bunkers. He barely breaks out. And now suddenly Zoun has map control. Whew. Oh my god. Very clutch. Very close. As Zoun is able to lift up every single Marine. And now he's going for the kill. Where are the Marines? Tanks are exposed. Does get 1 tank, lifts up the other. And there's nothing here. There's 1 bunker. There's 1 Marine in the bunker as well. The final tank does not go down. Whew. The repairs, they barely keep it alive. I spoke too soon. Gets lifted once again. Zel's on the low ground. They shut down the SCVs. And Zanny's done it. He breaks out. He counterattacks. There's just nothing here to defend. Just came with the production, lifting up Marine at a time.
Our SCVs.
You see Ryung scanning across the map. GG gets called, and Zoun, he survives. He bounces back, and Zoun will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very close defense there by Zoun. Again, as a reminder, if the second bunker had completed, if the first bunker hadn't been killed early on, if that setup there had completed, then Ryung most likely defends. He most likely, I say defend, most likely he maintains that position, kills the natural, kills the third base, ends the game then and there. So crucial that Zoun was able to kill the SCVs, that he was able to deny those bunkers, and as a result, the Marines were exposed. And he was able to barely reset the Marine count, which meant there was no anti-air, which meant the tanks were able to be picked off that one after the other. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We do see Zoun does take down Ryung 2-0, does advance on to the round 16. And with that, that leads us into our final series of the round of 32. This time it's going to be a ZvZ between Dark and Rogue. Oh boy.